Okay, the first topic is linear regression. So, this is just a review, and we're going to pretend like we already entered data into our calculators. And if you guys forgot how to do that, I hope you brought your sheet today, so you can go back and put it in your calculator. All right? So the calculator gave us this equation and this correlation coefficient. So for part A, is the equation a good model for the data? Explain how you know. So what do you guys think? Is it a good equation? Yes. Okay, why? Good. Yes, because, and when you say it, what do you mean? The R value, so R is greater than 0.85. So it is somewhat correlated, and we'll say positively. Hello. Right here. All right, so remember, the closer it is to positive 1, the more positively correlated it is, and the closer it is to negative 1, the more negatively correlated it is. Okay, what does the slope mean in the context of the problem? So first of all, who can tell me what the slope is? This video recording is going to be super weird because everyone's coming in like, hello. Did you have a good break, Connor?
What?
Did you have a good break?
Yeah, I'll be good.
Good. Okay, so who knows what the slope is? What number? Where is the slope in the equation? Y equals mx plus b, you guys. What's the slope? Oh, hey. I don't know. Max, what's the slope?
0.635.
Yep. You're behind David. In front of Max. Good. Okay, the slope, which is m, is 0.635. Okay? This number right here. So the wins, that's your output, is equal to 0.635, that's your slope, times the number of hours practiced weekly plus 3.671. So if we put this over 1, remember slope is always the change in y over the change in x. Okay, so who can tell me a sentence of what this actually means? Okay, change in y over change in x. So the y value is the output. What's the y value in this problem? What's the output? The wins. Okay, over the change in x. Okay, what's the x? The hours of practice. Okay, good. So for each hour of practice per week, what happens to the wins? Okay, the number of wins increases by 0.635. We have not really talked about the y-intercept. Anybody know which number the y-intercept is? It's the only one we haven't used yet. Yep, Natalie? Okay, good. This number right here is the y-intercept, 3.671. What does the y-intercept mean in the context of the problem? The y-intercept is when x is what? 0, okay? So if I practice for 0 hours, how many games do we win? Yep, on average 3.67, okay? So if the team practices 0 hours, you're going to win 3.671 times. All right, part D. How many games would a team that practices 10 hours per week expect to win? So if we practice for 10 hours, That means that W is equal to, and we're going to use our formula here, 0.635. And we're plugging in our hours. And then we have a y-intercept of 3.671. So if I multiply this by 10, we get 6.35 plus 3.671. Somebody tell me what that is. 10.021? So if you practice 10 hours a week, you're going to win 10 times. All right. Okay, now we're going to review the chemical mixture problems. The second concept that we learned for chemical mixture. You guys forgot this, okay? Or if you never really solidified it. So how much water must be evaporated from 100 gallons of a 10% brine solution to get a 20% brine solution? So I have 100 gallons, that is 10% brine. So if you want to use a decimal, 0.10, you can, or you can use 10. Just be consistent with your percents, okay? I'm going to use the whole number 10. We need to evaporate water. So I want to evaporate pure water. What percent of water is brine? 0. So I want to put a 0 in front of that. So I have 10% of 100 gallons. That's brine, and then we're subtracting water that has 0% brine, and I want my answer to be 20% brine, and inside the parentheses is just the amount, just the gallons, so I have 100 minus W on the right hand side. And now we're going to solve. So 10 times 100 is 1,000. This gives me 0. Distribute here, that gives me 2,000. Distribute here, minus 20 W. Okay. And I'm going to subtract 2,000 from both sides, so negative 1,000 equals negative 20 W. Divide by negative 20, and what do we get? Okay, we have 50 gallons of water. Any questions on that? Okay, you guys remember this? You guys awake? No? Okay. The vat contained 40 liters of 5% salt solution. Hello. How much of the 20%? Right here. Salt solution should be added to get a 10% salt solution. All right, anyone think they can write this formula? We just did one kind of similar. Don't all jump on it, you guys. It's going to be a super boring video that we upload. You guys don't want to be on YouTube? No one wants to be a YouTube sensation in here. Somebody just guess, okay? Just get it over with. Kevin, how about you? Welcome to class. Welcome out for two. What do you think?
What's the question?
Go ahead and read it. It's right there.
So it's 5 times 40
Good.
plus 20x equals 10 times 40 plus x.
Oh my gosh. Good job. Okay. So remember, the answer always just has the total amount of liters here, not the percents over on this side. All right, so 5 times 40 gives me 200 plus 20x. And on this side, 10 times 40 gives me 400. And 10 times x gives me 10x. Okay. So I'm going to subtract 10x from this side. That gives me 10x. I'm going to subtract 200. And I'm going to divide by 10. So I get 20. And we're looking for liters of 20% solution. Last thing we're going to review is adding vectors. Okay? Now, last semester, I was okay with you drawing them separately. This semester, I want you to draw them separately and draw them together. Because in physics, you guys are going to have to draw them together. Okay? So remember, this outside number is the length or the magnitude, and this number right here is the angle. Okay? So, for that first vector, with a magnitude of 30 and an angle of 45, what quadrant are we going to be in? Zach? Top right, quadrant 1, okay, right here. So we're at a 45-degree angle on this. There. Okay. With a length of 30. So we're going to say that that's a length of 30. And this is an angle of 45. And remember, we draw kind of our triangle down. And we're looking for that xy coordinate. Uh-oh, I'm a little delayed. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're going to add that second vector to it. So I'm going to go ahead and draw another one. Okay, angle 160. It's crooked. Alright, so 160 degrees, you guys, what quadrant are we in? Daniel? Good, quadrant 2, because we go 0, 90, 180. So we've got to be right here, and we're kind of closer to 180 right here. So what angle measurement would this be if this is 160? Okay, that's 20 degrees. So remember, we have to do 180 minus 160 if we're in quadrant 2 to get this angle. Okay, the length is 10. So if I drew this one as 30, should I shorten up my vector a little bit? Because this one has a length of 10, so it's like a third of that. It's little. Okay. And now we're going to draw it down. Alright, so for the x part of the coordinate, remember we're adding the x part to the coordinate. The x is always cosine. Do you guys remember that? And the y is always sine. Okay, good. So I've got 30. That always goes first. Cosine 45. If you don't want to do opposite over hypotenuse or adjacent over hypotenuse, you don't have to anymore. You can memorize, all right? The x is always cosine, and the y is always sine. So the magnitude goes first, the angle goes inside. Okay, this is a positive x because I'm in quadrant 1. And over here, what is my x? Positive or negative? Okay, so I'm subtracting, and the length of my vector here is 10, so I'm subtracting 10 cosine 20, and that would be my I hat. Okay, I have to see that. You guys see it credit. All right, now I'm going to add my vector over here. So I've got the y part of the coordinate, which is sine. So this one is going to be positive because I'm in quadrant 1. So I have 30 sine 45. And over here, positive or negative with the y value? Yep, I'm going left and up. So that one is positive, and it would be 10 sine 20, and this is my j. Okay, use your calculators, you guys. You know how to do that, and remember to round it to decimals. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode. If you're getting different answers than your friends, you might not be in degree mode. Okay? All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording. It's not awkward.